Hello there! I just got back from Taylor Swift's Reputation tour in Pasadena, California. The first night I was in the Snake Pit, and the second night I was in the last row of the entire stadium. Two completely opposite experiences at one phenomenal show. I had a great time both nights, but I am here to break down my experience and give you some tips so you can have the best possible time at the Reputation Stadium tour. So if you can't already tell, I am a Taylor Swift super fan. These are my first two Reputation shows, and I have Nashville, Houston, and both nights in Dallas coming up still. The first thing I need to say, you don't need to worry if you don't have tickets yet, because the shows actually didn't sell out until the day of the concert. I did a lot of boosts during the Taylor Swift Tickets pre-sale, so I didn't have to worry about getting tickets the day of the show. So assuming that you do have tickets to the show, because that's probably why you are watching this experience video, let me explain to you about the Snake Pit, because the Snake Pit tickets were very, very expensive. I was actually in the left Snake Pit, but the left Snake Pit was actually on the right side of the stadium, and that sounds really weird because it is. It's actually stage left, which means that when you're facing the stage from the audience point of view, at least in the stadium I was in, which was the Rose Bowl, the pit for the left was actually on the right. So when you enter on the right side of the stage, it says left Snake Pit, and the same for the right Snake Pit on the left. It's crazy, but it actually makes sense if you really think about it. From Taylor's point of view, from the stage view, it is stage left where the left Snake Pit is, even though it's on the right for you. So keep that in mind if you're looking for a specific view during certain songs, which I'll also explain too. I would say if you're gonna do the pit though and you don't already have tickets, do the center pit. I don't regret not doing the center pit, even though it was the same price, and I will explain why I say that as well. But I think the center pit has the best overall view of the entire show. Because I spent like $800 on this, and that's an insane amount of money. My friend Olivia and I decided that we were going to get to the stadium very early so we could get the best possible spot. We actually got there around 8 a.m. to the Rose Bowl, and we were in the first 7 people coming to the concert out of 60,000. So we're very front, and I have a trend of doing that at Taylor Swift concerts. I think the last few I've been to, I was there at like 8 a.m. or something crazy like that. Anyways, I don't mind it because I always meet some great, amazing Swiftie friends. However, when we got there, they would not let us in just even to the general area outside of the Rose Bowl. They're like, you can go like walk around to a park or something, but you can't come back here. This doesn't open up until 3 p.m. But I knew that was wrong because the Getaway Shop opens at 12. So I was like, excuse me, you are not correct. However, we ended up talking to some other security people and they understood and they let us in. But they actually put the throne, the replica of the throne from the Look What You Made Me Do music video out around 10 a.m. It's actually super comfortable. Tip there. Very useless tip, but it is very comfortable. I mean, you're going to sit in it even if it's not comfortable, but it is comfortable, so it all works out in that way. If you go into your stadium area very early, make sure that you don't line up in front of the Getaway Shop. That was the biggest mistake we made the entire day. Line up at will call. The reason for that is because you actually pick up your Snake Pit tickets from will call. So the first person to get their tickets from will call can be the first person to run to the entrance of the stadium, which is closest to the pit that you were going to be in. And obviously that depends on the stadium, and we had a really hard time figuring that out ourselves, even with a lot of help and directions, because people from the stadium had no idea what they were talking about.
She said we are on pretty much the opposite place of where you're supposed to be.
So we were thinking we were going to go into the stadium at the closest entrance to our pit being on the left side, but we actually entered in the wrong spot because we were actually entering from the farthest possible point from our pit because we thought it would be on the other side of the stage. However, that did not matter because when we got to the pit, we were like in the first 3 people or 2 people to get into the pit, and it really was not even crowded the entire show. So was it worth waiting all that time from 8 a.m. to, you know, 8:30 p.m. when Taylor went on stage? I would say yes, just because I met some amazing friends. However, if you're not looking to make friends and you're not looking to spend time at the Getaway Shop and you don't care about the perfect view of the stage, although if you spent $800, I would say that you should care because you never know, I would get there early, 8 a.m., maybe not quite that early, but we had a good time, so that's all that matters. In the Snake Pit, you're going to be standing there and looking up the entire time because the stage is actually 110 feet high. Now, not where Taylor stands, but the screen is 110 feet high. But because the screen is so high, They had to make the stage super high too, actually for a couple reasons. So people can't really jump onto the stage and like try to like get Taylor, because that's happened before during the 1989 tour and other times. And also so people really high up in the crowd from the nosebleeds where I was the second night can see Taylor better too, because she's physically higher up. However, if you're in the snake pit, that means you're gonna have a very limited view. So in the left, really right snake pit, I could only see Taylor, just being completely real, for about 40% of the show. Now, you're thinking that's terrible. You paid $800, you could only see her for 40% of the show. This is true, however, during that 40% of the show, I was so incredibly close to Taylor. At least for like 25% of that 40% of the show. I was so extremely close to Taylor, it was insane. So it was definitely worth it. However, if you're looking to see Taylor the entire show, I don't even think the center pit could do that. You'd have to be, I think, in the middle of the floor to see her the entire show, fairly close up. But the way the stage is, it's a really cool stage, but there's just not one view that you're gonna get really close to her the entire time. There were actually people in the snake pit I was in who bought both tickets at the snake pit and at the B stage. So they left the snake pit when she went to the B stage and were front row at the B stage as well. So they spent a lot of money. They must be rich, I'm telling you, it's crazy. But yeah, so people go to extreme measures. Back to the snake pit. If you're gonna be in the left snake pit, stand towards the catwalk side of the stage and not towards the main part of the stage by the screen, because she spends more time at the catwalk than she does at the screen side of the stage, because that's actually just a very small area. She's there at the screen during Getaway Car. Which of course is my favorite Taylor Swift song ever, like from any album. So you're like, why didn't you stand there? Because during Don't Blame Me, she actually stands on the catwalk. And don't go like too far down the catwalk, just like at the very beginning of the catwalk. She stands right there and she does her high note right there in front of me, and I got blessed, and I'll insert the video here. Oh, Lord, take me my job, it's my baby. And as you just saw, it was an insane view. So that was the best moment of the entire show for me. But really, like if you're at the B stage, you're gonna be fine because she does like 7 songs there. The acoustic stuff is incredible. Actually, the acoustic stuff was some of my favorites from the entire show as well. Anyways, we dressed up in costume because it's a Taylor Swift concert. It's more than fun. It's an experience. So my friend Olivia and I dressed up as Sunset and Vine, obviously from the song Gorgeous. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, you should know that. If you don't know what Sunset and Vine is from, you probably should not be in the snake pit. Just a little tip there. Just a little tip. She actually does sing, I think she sang Gorgeous near our stage. She sang, the songs we had a really good view for were Endgame, Don't Blame Me, Style, Call It What You Want was really good. Close to Us, Bad Blood too. And Should Have Said No. also the special guest, Shawn Mendes was the special guest. First of all, I was so extremely happy about that. But he runs out. He ran out at least by that area of the stage. Selena Gomez the next night did not run out from that same spot. Actually, yes she did. But Troye Sivan did not. So it depends on the guest. And who knows if there'll even be a guest where your show is. I hope there is. But yeah, so it's very important that you are choosing your spot in the pit wisely if you're going to wait that long. The only advantage to standing away from the barricade in the pit is that you're a little bit farther away, so the stage kind of seems a little bit lower and you can see a bit more. But you can't actually see like over the stage, to like when you're in the pit you cannot see the B stages whatsoever. So you're listening a lot of the time and you're at a concert to hear music, so that's understandable, that's totally fine. But just know that if you're in the pit, you're probably not going to be able to see Taylor during that point. In the snake pit, I was fortunate enough to get a lot of confetti, and I actually put it in my phone case. It says Swift, and this is a dollar from Ariana Grande, because Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande are my two favorite singers. That has nothing to do with this experience. I mean, it does, because it commemorates the experience, but one thing to note, if you want the confetti that's like a newspaper, that's going to be in the front half of the stadium. In the back half of the stadium, the confetti is going to be multicolored from Shake It Off. However, if you're on the floor, you have a wristband and you're free to like walk around and get confetti from wherever you want to at the end. Night 2, when I was not in the snake pit, I had an incredible time as well. I think the snake pit was my favorite experience because I was just so close to Taylor, but I really had a great time in the last row of the entire stadium. So we got there at 1 o'clock that day. Night 1, when we got there at 8 a.m., we actually got interviewed by the news in the morning for being there so early. They had a show. We have a scrapbook that we've actually made of all of our experiences, Olivia and I, on this Taylor Swift fan life tour, you know what I mean? Just like Speak Now, 1989, all this stuff, Reputation, scrapbook of all of our experiences, Jingle Bash, you know, Super Saturday Night, Austin, everything. And we also showed them what we were going to be wearing for night 2. We actually made a page in our book about the future, and we were going to be dressed in Call It What You Want themed outfits. I was the Joker dressed as a king. I'll put the picture big here. Olivia was a castle crumbling overnight with flowers growing back as thorns, and we were high above the whole scene in the last row of the entire stadium. See what I did there? So we got a lot of attention at 1 p.m. when we arrived in our costumes. Was the news there to document it? No. However, Taylor Nation was. Taylor Nation actually saw us, stopped us, and asked us all about our costumes, and they said, explain them to us, and they actually took our picture. So I have no idea what they did with that, whether they sent it to Taylor Swift. I hope so, because if Taylor Swift knows who I am, like, just from my picture, I will, like, die like she did in Look What You Made Me Do video. Never mind. We met some amazing people night 2. We met this mom and daughter who had been to every Taylor tour since Fearless in LA, and they're there at Reputation, all dressed up and stuff, and we bonded and met a few other great people. But when it was time to go into the show, we actually had a major problem. We tried to enter the stadium, but our tickets didn't scan through correctly. So they had to like go through this whole process and print us new tickets. It was a mess, but we got in. Luckily, we got our wristbands, which lit up and made the whole crowd look amazing during the show, and we went to our seats, and it was amazing. Taylor Swift has this ability to make the entire crowd captivated and attentive to her performance, but also have a great time, unlike any other artist can do. I've been to a lot of concerts, but the Reputation tour is the best concert I've ever been to. In no other concert are people in the nosebleeds jumping and having a great time during even the slow songs. Like literally during Long Live, our section was lit. And like, I know that song obviously is a huge Swiftie, but I didn't expect, you know, average George here to go, bring on the Pretenders! You know what I mean? Whoa! I mean, that literally happened. Someone actually fell over. That was not planned, but someone actually did fall over near us during the show. But yeah, it's a lit experience even from the last row, $49 nosebleed seats. We had a great time up there. Made some great friends. I had my light stick for $5. Definitely a great purchase. Get it at the Getaway Shop. And I have my shirt on under my costume. It was very chilly that night, so I had to like layer up. But yeah, we had a great time. The crowd was so gorgeous.
All the jokers dressing up as kings.
We can see the B stages pretty well. The main stage not so much, just because the B stages have giant poles coming up from them which block your view of the center. But if I were to say this, if you could only afford to go to one show, which is totally understandable, and you wanted to get a great experience at that show without getting snake bit, and you wanted to be able to see Taylor really well and have a great time, I would advise you this. If you love songs like Blank Space and Shake It Off, and all like her acoustic guitar stuff, go for a B stage type seat. If you really love Reputation, go for a seat closer to the main stage, whether it's in the hundreds, floor, whatever. But she's gonna fly over you no matter what, so that's gonna happen. Reputation is my favorite Taylor Swift album. I've been a fan since 2008 when I first heard Taylor Swift. When the school bus didn't show up on my first day of 6th grade, actually. My mom drove me to school because the school bus didn't come, and Taylor Swift's Love Story played on the radio, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Love Story, wow. And ever since, I've been like, super fan. So, Love Story is played at the main stage, so if you're a Love Story fan, like me, go for the main stage. But really, Reputation, the majority of the album was played at the main stage, so I think the main stage is the place to be just overall, but the B stage is going to be a great experience. Really, anywhere is going to be a great experience. But yeah, I love the Reputation tour. Best tour ever. You're going to have a great time. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. I will answer them for you. And yeah, have a great day and have a great time at the Reputation Stadium Tour.